All right. The legendary Hulk Hogan, as you know, has passed away at age 71. There are obviously some. Oops, it's obviously an echo. Um, at age 71, Hulk Hogan has passed away. And tough, very tough. I met Hulk Hogan when I was about 7 or 8 years old. That's me there on the right hand side, with my pants all the way up to my belly button. Probably about 7 years old or so, at the outside of the Holiday Inn in Oakland, California. It's the first time that I met him, and you can see I'm holding something in my hand there, which is the exact same thing that I'm holding right here, Superstars. And Hulk Hogan signed it. Got him to sign it. There. Good stuff. Woo. I'm assuming that's his signature. It doesn't look like it, but okay, we'll go with it for now. If it was, I don't know, but I know I met him. I got the proof there. I got the proof that he signed it. I have no idea what that says, though. Looks different to me. Anyways, still have the original photo here too. Nothing photoshopped. This is real, but very nice guy, and definitely one of the highlights. I mean, I also met Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Met a lot of these guys. I don't have a lot of pictures, and Hercules. So back in the day, too. And I got to get some frames for these. I really need frames for those. But then everything came full circle when Hulk Hogan endorsed President Trump. But the main thing with Hulk Hogan, the best thing that could have ever happened to him is this right here. I hear about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, he got baptized, gave his life to the Lord. And, you know, when he was going on this tour supporting President Trump, supporting Donald Trump, it was a great day. It was a great time. And I did not really expect him to show up at the RNC and do what he did. Trump and Hogan have a long history going back all the way to WrestleMania 4, and he talks about that. And it was good to see everything come full circle. And this was a big, big moment for me as fans of both of them. And it felt like a wrestling show, theater, entertainment, whatever you want to call it. And then I ended up going and buying buying something there. Hopefully it doesn't have any of my private information on it. Either way, it's all good. So that is what we know what happened. Lost a good guy, a hero, and got some real American beer here, chilling for later. That'll be good. And I figured maybe I'd read a little bit from the book, but I figured maybe before that, maybe what I'll do is I will play some of Hulk Hogan here. I call this video Hulk Hogan 3 minutes. Hulk Hogan endorses Trump for 34 minutes. So let me see if I can get this to play. Yeah. No. Can I remove that? I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Add to stay. There we go. Still getting used to this. Kind of cool to be able to do the photos. I've never done that before. So I'll play a little bit of this Hulk Hogan speech.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You know something? When I came here tonight, There was so much energy in this room. I felt maybe I was in Madison Square Garden getting ready to win another world title. Or maybe I thought the vibe was so intense, the energy was so crazy, it felt like maybe I was going to press that no good stinky giant over my head and slam him through the mat, brother. But what I found out was I was in a room full of real Americans, brother. And at the end of the day, with our leader up there, my hero, that gladiator, we're gonna bring America back together. One real American at a time, brother. You know something? I've seen some great tag teams in my time. Hulk Hogan and, ooh, yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. But you know something? I see the greatest tag team of my life standing upon us, getting ready to straighten this country out for all the real Americans. You know, even though you guys are real Americans, you better get ready. Because when Donald J. Trump becomes the president of the United States, all the real Americans are going to be nicknamed Trumpites. Because all the Trumpites are going to be running wild for 4 years. So with the power of Donald J. Trump and all the Trumpites running wild, America is going to get back on track. And like Donald J. Trump said, America is going to be great again. You know, when I look out and I see all the real Americans, I think about how Donald Trump, his family was compromised. When I look out there and I see Donald Trump, I think about how his business was compromised. But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Good stuff right there. Stop right there just for a second. So that is what I pretty much put in my book, Kennedy and Trump. I was actually proofreading this last night, and I was proofreading the part of Hulk Hogan speaking. So I'm going to read a little bit of this from the book. This is on page 107 of the book, Kennedy and Trump, soon to be released. Oh, 1 second here. I'm going to play a little bit more and be right back.
You know something, Trumpites? I didn't come here as Hulk Hogan, but I just had to give you a little taste. You know, my name is Terry Bollea. And as an entertainer, I love you too. And as an entertainer, I tried to stay out of politics. But after everything that's happened to our country over the past 4 years, and everything that happened last weekend, I can no longer stay silent.
I love that. I love that. Everything that just happened over the past weekend. And it's not too much later that Biden drops out. So let me read a little bit from the book. All right. Here's what I say here now. All the speakers were great, but it was Hulk Hogan who stole the show. His speech was made for America by a real American, the ultimate superhero. He really was the first superhero in my lifetime. You know, if you take out Jesus Christ, obviously, and my dad. My dad was a superhero. Right up there on the TV screen was Hulk Hogan, larger than life. And it was crazy. It was crazy how he was. Hogan's speech captivated audiences and news media, just like the old days of WWF in the 80s. Hulk was able to blend reality and wrestling, just as he's done for so many years. His speech was so good, President Trump talked about it at several rallies after the convention. The RNC crowd burst into chants of USA as Hulk Hogan stepped to the podium. Hogan began the speech the same way he would during a wrestling promo. Well, let me tell you something, brother. The Hulkster found himself in a room full of real Americans. He stayed in character for the first part of the speech, as we saw, praising the real Americans and President Trump. And when I look out and I see all the real Americans, said Hogan, I think about how Donald Trump, his family was compromised. When I look out there and I see Donald Trump, I think about how his business was compromised. But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? What happened last week when they took a shot at my hero, Hulk Hogan? Yes, hold on. Yes. What happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? Hogan takes off his jacket and they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. Hulk ripped off his black tank top and revealed the red Trump and Vance shirt underneath. It was theatrical. It was straight out of a professional wrestling show, and it was exactly what the country needed at that moment. It was the moment when Trumpomania began running wild. Very cool. All right, and I'm going to play a little bit more, and I'll be right back.
I'm here tonight because I want the world to know that Donald Trump is a real American hero. And I'm proud to support my hero as the next president of this United States. You know, guys, I've known Donald Trump for over 35 years. You know, hold on a second, hold on. I just had a flashback. Man. This is really tripping. You know, the last time I was up on stage, Donald Trump was sitting at ringside at the Trump Plaza. I was bleeding like a pig, and I won the world title right in front of Donald J. Trump. And you know something? He's going to win in November, and we're all going to be champions again when he wins. And like I said, I've known that man for over 35 years, and he's always been the biggest patriot, and he still is. He's always told you exactly what he thought, and he still does, brother. And no matter the odds, he always finds a way to win. And when he's back in our White House, America is going to start winning again. You know, guys, over my career, I've been in the ring with some of the biggest, some of the baddest dudes on the planet. And I've squared off against warriors, ooh yeah, savages. And I've even, like I said, body slammed giants in the middle of the ring. And I know tough guys. But let me tell you something, brother. Donald Trump is the toughest of them all. They've thrown everything at Donald Trump. All the investigations, the impeachments, the court cases, and he's still standing and kicking their butts. You know, we never had it better than the Trump years. Back then, we had a thriving economy. We had strong borders. We had safe streets. We had peace and respect around the world. But then we lost it all in a blink of an eye. Crime is out of control. The border is out of control. The price of food and gas and housing is out of control. And the only person who can clean this up is Donald Trump. You know, guys, I really, really love this country. And I've lived the American dream. And I want my kids, your kids, and all those little teeny Hulkamaniacs out there to live the American dream too. This November, guys, we can save the American dream for everyone. And Donald Trump is the president who will get the job done. So all you criminals, all you lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers, and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you, brother? God bless you, and thank you.
A very powerful moment. They need to stop it before they start playing this music. Hopefully they're going to quit. So that was very recent at the RNC. And I'm so glad that I got to, I love when these things come together. I love when a good plan comes together. And the plan was right there. This was Trumpomania. It began right there. I bought the t-shirt right after that. Trump, you get it at MAGA.com. You can buy it there. I want the red one, I think but I've never had a yellow t-shirt, so I just decided to go for the yellow. But I want the red one next. And like I said, I did order another yellow t-shirt, a Hulkamania t-shirt right there. I don't know why it's not. There it is. I don't know why it's not popping up. So that is in the works. Other things are in the works. And then I want the Hulkamania t-shirt as well. You can get it from WWE.com, but that thing is like $32 before anything. But again, this is really the most important thing. And it's kind of crazy. 4 months before he passes away. And he had been talking about some of the other interviews that I'm going to play with Hulk Hogan. Will show him talking about Jesus, about giving his life to Christ and how he came to know Christ. On Jesse Waters' show, he was on there. He was on Hannity too. So he's been around for a long time. Hulk Hogan has, and like he said, like he was saying, you know, he just finally felt like he had to get involved. He could no longer stay silent. And we all got pushed to that point, I think, in 2024. We almost lost the greatest president of all time, I would say. The greatest elected president of all time. You may disagree with that. That's all right. We almost lost him there before he got to choose a vice presidential candidate. Can you imagine that? What would have happened then? Who would have been the Republican candidate for 2024? This is how God works. It's all a part of God's plan. But one of the greatest things to find out is that Hulk Hogan did give his life to Jesus Christ. He got baptized. He got baptized here. That's what this is. And it is definitely the timing. The timing is crazy, but he left an impact, a major impact, a positive impact, I would say, in my life. And I focus on the character. I'm focused on Hulk Hogan, not Terry Bollea, though, right? But this is Terry. This is him. This is everything to me right here. This image. Hulk Hogan Terry Bollea being baptized. Come a long way. So, great inspiration in my life. Steady figures, obviously, and then everything else happened. But before the NWO, and I do think Hulkamania is a lot better than the NWO era. It's my view, my point. I love the Hulkamania era. I'm not an Attitude Era fan. Did not like the Attitude Era. But it's great to know WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5. This is WrestleMania 4, where there was a tournament because Hogan got screwed out of his title, kind of similar to how Donald Trump would get screwed out of the presidency in 2020. And Hulk Hogan fought his way back to become the champion, the WWF champion once again. And I love this image. This is just great stuff here. Great stuff here. I love all of the wrestling references with Donald Trump and everything. I got a 2-hour clip that I'll probably just let run wild here on this stream at some point. But it's a beautiful day knowing this here. This is what it's all about. Jesus Christ. Everything happens for a reason, my friends. And we got to see some crazy stuff play out in this world, in this lifetime. I'm so grateful, so happy for everything that we have, for what we've received, for what we've gotten. And so that was that was Hulk Hogan speaking at the RNC. I mean, what happened to Trump not only just changed him, it changed the course of our nation, hopefully, possibly. Maybe Trump would have still won. Maybe it would have still won, even if they wouldn't have taken a shot at him. But I think that was a line in the sand for a lot of people, especially people who grew up or who knew about John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy, who lived through that era. It must have been like deja vu a little bit. Like, wow, I can't believe this is happening again. I can't believe they did this again. And with Ronald Reagan too. So, yeah, it's been quite the year, and I've really, that's why I think this book is not only is going to be relevant. The book I wrote, Kennedy and Trump, worldwide distribution coming very, very soon. Just got a few more edits to go through, doing the book reading on that too, and the podcast. But this episode of the podcast, I thought would just be really good to say a few things about Hulk Hogan. I usually don't do things like this when people die, because we know how great things are with Jesus Christ. You don't want to dwell on it. But it's probably, Hulk Hogan made it into the book, probably about a page in there. It's one of the highlights of the campaign, of the Trump campaign. One of the highlights. The only thing greater than Hulk Hogan and Trump giving, the thumbs up to each other was the ultimate handshake between Kennedy and Trump. It's great. It's like the mega powers colliding. It was great. It was awesome. So there were a lot of great things that happened, and that's all before Trump won. Now, when he won, now it's like, okay, now we got to get serious, get back to business, keep his feet to the fire, as we should. He is a man. He is a person. We are all human beings, and we should not worship man. We worship God. And Trump is having his own challenges. I did want to see if Trump would I'm pretty sure at some point President Trump will post something about this. I don't see anything yet, but I will be shocked if he does not post something about Hulk Hogan. Maybe he won't. I thought he might. Hopefully he will. All right. So I covered just about everything I wanted to. I mean, just let the video play for a little bit, and hopefully I'll be back.
So Hulk Hogan has a message to Americans before Election Day. He still believes more than ever that Donald Trump is the only person in our country that could turn our country around. Why? Well, let's ask the man who stole the show at the RNC. There's still buzz around him about that appearance and the shirt that you ripped off. WWE Hall of Famer himself, Hulk Hogan. Hulk, great to see you. Since you stole the show at the RNC in Milwaukee, what's it been like? What's the feedback been like since you came out from Trump?
Well, brother, I still got that Trump pump on, dude. But the weird thing is, I've been going all over the country with Real American Beer, my brand new beer. And I wrote down a bunch of states I was at: Wisconsin, Ohio, Arkansas, Minnesota, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Illinois, Idaho, Nebraska, Michigan. And everywhere I've gone, thousands of people get in line to come meet and greet me. Everybody's for Trump. So I hear what you're saying about the polls, and it's even Steven, and it might be a close call. But let me tell you something. I don't believe the polls. It's going to be a landslide. You know, too big to rig, brother, is the theme here. And at the end of the day, all of America wants to get back to America. Not the way it used to be, but the way it should be, brother. Trump is on fire. And if you listen to where people are speaking from, especially the Democrats, if they say Trump was responsible for the border wall, it's them. If they say Trump was responsible for inflation, it's them. Because in the Bible, like I said before, if you listen to where people are speaking from, you know exactly who they are.
All right, so a couple of things. Trump set the tone, and I think it's the tone that you like. When he's at the Al Smith dinner, he noticed that Kamala Harris has white people for this, black people for this, Hispanic people for this. Trump thought that was something he should point out on Thursday night. Watch.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris. Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
So is that the type of humor that people like? Is that why he's getting so much of the man vote?
Brother, that dinner wasn't a campaign agenda. That dinner was fun, tongue-in-cheek. It's bipartisan. It was for everybody to have fun and make fun of each other. And for Kamala to pull a no-show, I mean, everybody was upset because everybody's been going to this thing for years and years and years. And it's just levity. It's just lighten up the mood and have fun. So, I mean, it was funny. You know, Donald Trump is quick on his feet, man. He can pivot. He's all smoke and mirrors. But when it comes down to business, he's a businessman. You know, like that economic forum where he schooled that guy who didn't know a thing about tariffs. Trump's been doing this all of it. Yes, thank you, Bloomberg. Trump's been doing this all of his life. And that's what America needs. Somebody put this country back on track. We want, you know, God in our homes and in our schools and in our country. We basically want safety. We want basically to have, you know, great lives, and we want to be able to economically afford to live a good life and take care of our children. Trump is all about that. Everything I hear on the other side that's supposed to be hope and happy, it all sounds like doom and gloom to me.
Right. And you're like Trump in this. You have your focus, you have your career, but you also, I don't know if you heard, but Trump sells sneakers, he's selling watches. You got that beer shirt on. How did this come to be? And how did you realize there was a lane? Because one thing about wrestling, you guys sell all the time, right? You're selling the match, you're selling the tickets, and now you're selling the beer.
Got Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer here, and it all started with a conversation in the dressing room because I didn't want to get beat up too bad. So I'd always have my opponent talk to my opponent, said, hey, let's talk the match over with a beer and take it easy on me. So when I saw that the neighbors didn't talk, the Republicans and Democrats didn't talk, I thought if we had Americans beer, Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer, we could bring the country back together one beer at a time.
You know what's so interesting is there was a time maybe in the 80s with Reagan, you looked at Republicans and they were the white collar guys. And now it really has switched. The president, even though he's a billionaire probably, he is more comfortable with the blue collar guys. I look at you the same way. You've had a lot of success, Hall of Fame, millions of dollars, but you're more comfortable drinking a beer with the guys.
Well, brother, at the end of the day, I treat everybody the same. And when we're talking about John Kennedy and that old Democratic Party, when he got assassinated, I was in 5th grade. That party was kind of like the way Donald Trump is now, is Americana, middle of the road, country western, NASCAR. It was Americana. And now all of a sudden, the Republican Party is like that. And when they tell you that they're that the Republicans are demonic and they're a domestic threat, listen to where people are speaking from. That's exactly who they are.
I hear you. Best of luck with the beer. I love the entrepreneurial effort. I know you're going to be with the president soon. Maybe he's going to call on you and tag you into the final 17 days. Hulk Hogan, thanks so much for your time.
You know, brother, I'd like to head the President's Council on Physical Fitness, dude. I'd get everybody in shape, brother.
I hear you. I'm inspired right now. I just don't have short sleeves on to reveal my guns, but they're very similar to yours.
So I love two things that Hulk Hogan said right there. The first one was that he said he was in the 5th grade when President Kennedy was shot. So he's been there, done that, and that it was the Democrats were back then, or the way that MAGA is now, pretty much is what he's saying. And I also love, what's the other thing he said? Oh, he said, look at what they do when they accuse people, when they accuse Trump of doing these things. These are the things that they are doing. Two very important points there. Though that is what they are doing to President Trump. The support for President Trump is really strong, and going in to the 2024 presidential election, it was very, very strong. Couldn't be better. I couldn't be happier with it. But to see Hulk Hogan get all of this airtime to promote his beer, the Real American Beer, not open yet, but saving that for later. But there it is, the Real American Beer. Guess I can make it full screen. The Real American Beer here. Boom. The signature is a little bit different than the one I have. What's up with that? Starting to question the signature that I have in this book. Again, this is from 1987. 1987. I got Tito Santana. You can see that. And there's just a lot of wrestlers on the front, in the back. And then, of course, this is the back of it here. Great stuff. Great time. Great time to be a wrestling fan. All went downhill after Stone Cold Steve Austin came on the scene, in my opinion. In my opinion. Doesn't mean much. Let's play a little bit more Hulk Hogan.
Thank you very much, Hulk. I appreciate it.
Very good.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you, my bro.
Well,
Hi,
it's
winner Brian
official.
Kilmeade.
Kamala's got a man problem, but assistant coach Walls, he's in denial. He's been out wooing white dudes and says, there's no problem. So let's talk to a man with no problems, Hulk Hogan. How you doing, Hulk?
I'm great, brother. How are you today?
I'm doing great now that you're in town. Tell me about being a man. The Democrats can't really figure it out. I don't know what's going on. What's the truth?
Well, the way it goes, brothers, in the Bible, it says, listen to where people are speaking from, and you'll know exactly who they are. So when they say that Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan and stuff like that doesn't make Trump one with the people or a blue-collar worker, if you listen to where people are speaking from and you put Buttigieg up there, Trump definitely wouldn't be a man of the people. That's how it really is, brother. But by the way, just to correct you, Jesse Waters,
Yeah.
I know about Waters and your world and all that stuff. Well, this is Trumpomania, and this is his country, brother.
All right, I'll give it to him just for this show, but not after that. I'm going to be taking it back. We saw you ripping your shirt off at the RNC. You know, they've been saying that men that lift weights are fascists. Can you just kind of remind Democrats, because they didn't used to be like this, can you remind Democrats what American men are made of?
Well, brother, at the end of the day, you know, this is chain of command, our Lord and Savior, the wife and the husband and the kids. And at the end of the day, the mother is to nourish, but the man is to protect, serve, and provide. So at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, is being a real man, being a real American, and getting this country and making it not how it used to be, but how it should be, brother.
When you knew Donald Trump back in the day, you guys were running around the country at events, and he was all in your business out there in the ring. And tell me a little bit about Donald Trump when you first met him.
Well, when I first met him, we rented Trump Plaza for WrestleMania 4 and 5. He was at the event from the beginning to the end, and I learned a lot from him, brother, how he handled special kids, how he would talk with the Make-A-Wish kids, and not just give a moment of his time with them. He would spend plenty of time with them, touch them, talk to them, make them feel very comfortable. He's a good man all the way around, brother. He's a good person and a real American.
Your patriotism's up there with pretty much, I don't know, I can't even compare it. What made you fall in love with this country?
Well, I grew up in South Tampa, and from very humble beginnings. You know, my mom was a housewife, my dad worked construction, but I really never knew where we were at on the food chain as far as our economic ladder. And so once I got out from under, you know, going to high school and college, I got into professional wrestling and made my way. And at the end of the day, this was the land of opportunity for me, because instead of once a month having a small little minute steak to eat, I told myself I never wanted to live like that. I wanted to make my way and make my life. And this country gave me that opportunity. So the American dream is what this country's all about. And Donald Trump represents that, brother.
Now, Kamala Harris is out there eating steaks, slinging beers with Stephen Colbert. I don't know if her drinking beer is going to really change votes. Do you?
Well, at the end of the day, when I hear the word salad over and over, and she won't even answer a question from Brett Baer, she won't even say how many people have come across the border, you know, during her administration. Everything is like that with them. They won't answer the questions. They won't step up to the plate, and they won't even let the American people know what their plan is. So at the end of the day, if you want more of the same, you go down that route. But if you want America the way it should be, you vote for Donald Trump.
All right. And a real American beer. You got to go get it. You got to drink it. That's what Hulk is here about. We love it. Real American beer. You look at it on his T-shirt. Hulkamania, we love you. We love everything about you. Thanks for coming on Jesse Waters Primetime. It's still my world, but this is Trump's country. Click here.
Well, let me tell you something, Trumpomaniacs. Welcome to the house that Hulkamania built. You know something? Usually when I'm in Madison Square Garden, I'm body slamming giants. I'm winning world heavyweight titles, and I'm cracking people over the heads with steel chairs. And the energy in Madison Square Garden is off the Richter scale. But today, Trumpomaniacs, the energy in here is something like I've never felt. The energy of all these Trumpomaniacs is the most powerful force in the universe. And today, this is Donald Trump's house, brother.
So there's the man right there at Madison Square Garden. I believe that is that must be late August, maybe early September of 2024, after the mega powers collided, the MAGA powers collided and joined forces. But that's another great speech by Hulk Hogan. There's a lot that I probably left out of this, but probably because I didn't want to make it too much about Hulk Hogan. I felt like I said what needed to be said about him. Looking at it now, man, I could have included more. I think I may have included some more about Madison Square Garden and Hulk Hogan speaking there. I sure hope so. I know I've mentioned Madison Square Garden and Hogan in here somewhere. So anyways, the main thing is that, again, he became a follower of Christ. To me, that is the most important thing about the story of Hulk Hogan. But the impact that he had to make me want to be a better person at the time, someone we could look up to as kids. And yes, it was a fictitious person. It was a character that Terry Bollea was playing. But it is definitely one of the strongest characters in my lifetime. And I instantly loved wrestling from that point. Hulk Hogan, when I think of wrestling, you think of two people. I think of two people, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. The dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair, and Hulk Hogan, the great American hero, the real American. And I tried to think of some analogies at some point with Kennedy and Trump, Hogan, Flair, Trump, the most dirtiest player, like Ric Flair. Trump is the Ric Flair, and Kennedy is the Hulk Hogan, which was pretty interesting to see. At one point, when Kennedy was going around, when he was still running for president, he got introduced by Jesse Ventura during one of his speeches. And when Kennedy came out during his speech to give his speech, Kennedy came out to Hulk Hogan's theme song, "I Am a Real American." And definitely still my favorite song. One of the earliest times where they actually had music. Hogan will tell you it's the first time. Some other people who have been following wrestling for longer than I have will probably tell you somebody else did it first down the road. To me, it doesn't really matter. And of course, Hulk Hogan played Eye of the Tiger from Rocky, one of the Rocky movies, maybe the first Rocky movie, second Rocky movie, but he played Eye of the Tiger. That was the first time Hulk Hogan ever came out to music. And then I'm not sure when they started playing Hulk Hogan's "I Am a Real American," but a great song. There's going to be more to come. You're going to see a lot of tributes and things like that. And I just thought I'd just share some stuff that I have, especially following Hulk Hogan for as long as I have been, for pretty much for my whole life. And then to see him on the stage, Madison Square Garden, back at Madison Square Garden, doing what he's doing is amazing. All right, let's play a little more.
You know something, Trump maniacs? I don't see no stinking Nazis in here. I don't see no stinking domestic terrorists in here. The only thing I see in here are a bunch of hard-working men and women that are real Americans, brother. You know, when I hear my president and our president, Donald Trump, speak, he sounds for real, brother. He sounds like he has a heart of gold that's all for the USA. But when I hear Kamala speak, it sounds like a script from Hollywood with a really, really bad actress. You know, Kamala is responsible for the border crisis, and Kamala is also responsible for inflation. And then you know something? She acts like she's the victim. And then all of a sudden, she flips, she flops, she spins and turns it around and acts like she's gonna be the damn hero. But we all know Trump is the only man that can fix this country today. And with Trump as our commander-in-chief, peace through strength will fix all the problems in the Middle East. You know, I've been coming to this building month after month after month, and I've seen sold-out crowds over and over again for over 40 years. And for 40 years, I've always asked the question, what you gonna do? Over and over and over again, what you gonna do? Well, today, after feeling the energy in this building, I finally got the answer. And the answer is, vote for Trump. So now, I got a couple questions for you. What you gonna do about the border invasion? What you gonna do about inflation? What you gonna do about keeping America safe, brother? And what you gonna do about putting God in our homes, in our country, and our schools? So I guess we're all on the same page. So I got one final question for you. What you gonna do, and who's gonna make America great again? God bless Donald Trump. He's our next president.
The emphasis on God, on country, on USA, it was inspiring again to see so many people putting USA first, putting us back on the map, where we don't have to be ashamed of the USA. With Bush, you can even argue with Clinton, that it was shameful, and especially with Bush, with Barack Obama, was just another extension of the whole Bush drama. So all of that just made us not want to be proud to be an American. Let me play a little more.
So after captivating America with his Trump-mania speech at the RNC and endorsing Donald Trump, Hulk Hogan, he appeared on stage at Donald Trump's massive Madison Square Garden rally in New York City yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
You know, when I hear my president and our president, Donald Trump, speak, he sounds for real, brother. He sounds like he has a heart of gold that's all for the USA. But when I hear Kamala speak, it sounds like a script from Hollywood with a really, really bad actress. We all know Trump is the only man that can fix this country today. And with Trump as our commander-in-chief, peace through strength will fix all the problems in the Middle East.
Here with more wrestling legend himself. What did that say on your shirt? The one and only legend, Hulk Hogan, is with us. How are you, sir? You are having too much fun out there.
I'm great, brother. I still got my Trump pump on, brother, from Madison Square Garden.
you know, I work out. I'm not taking you on either. You were great in one of the Rocky movies, and I remember the size difference. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was brutal. And then at the end, it was funny. All right, so you tapped into something that I think is really relevant. Trump is real. I do interview after interview after interview with Donald Trump. I have one tomorrow with him. And these are not scripted answers. These are answers from the heart. Kamala can't talk about her real views, so she has to hide them. I think that's a big part of why she's not doing well. Your thoughts?
Well, the main problem I have with her is she will never answer the question. Whenever she's confronted, if she has the answer, she won't tell you the answer, because at the end of the day, all the policies are bad. They're taking this country in the wrong direction. So when people talk about the word salad, in the wrestling business, we call it a bunch of gaga, you know, and it just doesn't mean anything. So when you talk to Trump, you got a feeling, you know, that he's real, he's tangible, he connects with the American people, and he loves this country. I've known the guy since WrestleMania 4 and 5, almost 40 years ago. He hasn't changed a bit. He's the same generous, honest guy he was back then. He loves this country, he loves life, and he loves his family. And when he talks about bringing God back into our homes and back to our country and back to our schools, the people understand he's for real. He's sincere about that.
What do you make of the Nazi, fascist, racist closing argument, the psychotic rage that has now overtaken the Joy campaign?
Well, there's a clip that you didn't show. And when I went on stage, I said, no, this is the house that Hulkamania built, or whatever I said, and this is Trumpmania. Can't remember what I said, but I looked around. 22,000 people. And I said, I don't see no stinking Nazis in here. You know, I don't see any domestic terrorists. I just see hardworking people, men and women that love this country, that want safety, security. They want, you know, to be, you know, how would I say, be able to pay their bills and get along in life and just have a good life in God and country. Just good American, real American people in the building. What they're saying is just spewing venom. It's not true.
Yeah, you know, the people that get up every morning, they work hard, obey the laws, they raise their kids, they take them to church, they cook dinner, pay their taxes. I mean, they're the people that really make the country great. They're the people that's been your audience your entire career. That's been my audience my entire career. Our lives are because of very generous people that have blessed us. And I hate to see the American dream that we have both benefited from disintegrating before our very eyes. And there's not a single thing they can point to that they can say is successful, in my view.
Well, when I was talking to the president the other night in the back, I told him I don't buy these polls. I mean, I've been slinging this real American beer for 4 months. I've gone to 18 different states. I'm pushing through all 50. And my fans are Democrats and they're Republicans. I see 8,000 to 10,000 people a day. I take pictures, sign autographs. Democrats and Republicans, they're all for Donald Trump. I mean, it's so lopsided. Middle America is so lopsided. It's unbelievable. But what you read in the press, demonizing President Trump, saying we're all domestic terrorists, talking about the Nazi stuff, none of that stuff is true. And I told Donald Trump, I can't even buy into these polls. And when he says it's too big to rig, that's exactly where this is at now.
I gotta order your beer online. I have less than a minute. What is it about that iconic arena? What is it about MSG? Tell me.
Well, it's like the Roman Coliseum. If you're an athlete, if you make it in Madison Square Garden, you've made it in your career as far as athletics. I mean, the fact that I was in Madison Square Garden for almost 40 years, when I walked out there the other night and I saw 22,000 people, it was the energy of Hulkamania, but it was even bigger. It was like all the Trump maniacs were all on the same team. We all want to make America great again. And I was kind of worried going out there because I usually have another guy to work with out there. I was out there by myself, and I felt like everybody was with me because we were all on the same team. We were on Trump's team, brother. And those Trump-maniacs, those are real Americans, and they want this country back, brother.
Hulk Hogan, don't, as the Washington Post said, the American people should not settle for a townhouse instead of a home with a yard. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Hey, Sean,
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Before I get to this next clip, I did want to share this because I've been waiting for it. I was waiting for Trump to do something, and apparently 2 hours ago he did. I checked earlier, it wasn't working, but here it is. Donald J. Trump on Truth Social. We lost a great friend today, the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan was MAGA all the way, strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. He gave an absolutely electric speech at the Republican National Convention. That was one of the highlights of the entire week. Absolutely. He entertained fans from all over the world, and the cultural impact he had was massive. To his wife, Sky, and family, we give you our warmest, best wishes and love. Hulk Hogan will be greatly missed. Whew. Yep, he will be greatly missed. And it's nice that President Trump is doing that he said that. It means a lot to a lot of us, I think. It means a lot to me. Hopefully to you too. All right. We have one more clip in this 35 minutes. They should really say 35 minutes. Hulk Hogan endorses Trump for 35 minutes is what I need to label this. Relabel, redo, re-edit.
WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan is here. What's up, Hulk?
It's Hulkoween, brother. It's that time of year.
Trick or treat, my man. How do you feel about Joe Biden calling you garbage?
You know what's so funny about that comment? I was appalled, highly insulted. But every year for Halloween, when I lived over in Bel Air, a few miles away from Clearwater Beach, we would open the gates to our house. Everybody from the neighborhood would come to our Halloween party. The garbage men would come. Then the kids would leave. I'd hang out with the garbage men until like 2, 3 in the morning, because I finally got to talk to them. They'd just always do a drive-by, We'd sit there and drink beer. I just wish it would have been Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer back then. But those comments were appalling. I hated to hear that.
Yeah, actually saw my garbage man today, took a photo, didn't put on his vest, but everyone is talking about this because you never insult the voters. Trump makes fun of pencil neck Adam Schiff, crying Chuck. He just said Mark Cuban's got slow head speed when he swings the club. Why do the Democrats keep insulting the American people?
Well, the only thing I could think is they're trying to humiliate, the Trump supporters into voting for them. To call us Nazis. I was in Madison Square Garden. I looked all around. I'm used to the building. There was no stinking Nazis in there. There's no domestic terrorists. They call us deplorables, but to call us garbage, they're calling the American people that support Trump garbage. It's just ridiculous.
You're right. It's social shaming. They're trying to humiliate people so they're not proud of who they're voting for. You saw J.D. Vance on Rogan. You saw Trump on Rogan, 3 hours, like 6.5 combined. Why isn't Kamala Harris going there if she needs to turn men out?
Well, let me start with this first, and then I'll go to here next, and then I'll go to there next, and then I'll do an end around Tutti Frutti over the top Fruity Loop, and I'll never give an answer.
Right.
That's why she didn't go on there. Donald Trump is direct to the point. He's versed in all subject matter. He knows everything domestic, foreign, international, swing arm of knowledge. He's our guy. But to put us all in a category of deplorables, domestic terrorists, Nazis, garbage, what would happen if they got in power? What would they do to us? What would they do to us, the real Americans that want to make America great again? If that's what they think of us, can you imagine what they would do to us now?
Well, if Trump
just line us all up.
I know. Well, not if you're there. I think you'll protect the country. If Trump wins, are you going to play any role? I know RFK Jr. is talking about making America healthy again. Is Hulk going to make America tough again, strong again? What are you going to have any role?
Well, brother, in the wrestling business, when you're getting ready to draw some big money, you got to shoot an angle, put some hot spice on the feud. And when I had Trump in the back of the garden, I said, something? This Robert Kennedy Jr., he's on to something with nutrition. But if you tag team us up as the mega powers, the MAGA powers, there you go.
Yeah.
The MAGA powers, RF Kennedy Jr. and Hulk Hogan, he could get him eat the right food, and I could get all of our kids in shape, brother.
That's what we need. We need a healthy,
that would have been
strong, young generation.
That would have been a great team right there. I'm happy I ended the video there. I wish I would have put some of this in the book. Maybe put it in part 2. But wow, that was really good. I totally forgot about that because, if you have RFK Jr. and Hulk Hogan as the same team, what's good about this is we do have Triple H and our RFK Jr. and Stephanie McMahon, who are all going to be involved in this idea to get our kids healthy again, to create more health. And you can see what Triple H has done for the wrestling business too. So hopefully he will. I know Triple H is not the biggest Hulk Hogan fan, but I hope he will follow in his footsteps a little bit there too. We'll see.
Not worried about my son. He's already playing football, but the rest of the country, they need to tone up. Hulkamania running wild. It's not a Halloween costume. If you see him tonight, don't try to grab his mask off. It's the real deal.
The 24-inch guns, brother, protecting America.
Happy Halloween, Hulk.
Thank you, brother. Hulkoween.
Hulkoween.
Aliens. I want to talk to you about aliens.
Yeah.
UFOs, UAPs.
I know.
The disclosure we've seen in Congress recently. It's confusing and upsetting a lot of Americans because there's something happening.
It's like a 2-hour video of Wrestling with Trump clipumentary for all the people that love Trump, that all the wrestlers, what wrestlers supported Trump is basically what that is. But There's only one Hulk Hogan. There'll never be another. If you have this Superstars book from 1987, like I do, you will see some interesting things here. It talks about Hulk Hogan. So I need things. I probably need to make this full screen too. The great Hulk Hogan right there. World Wrestling Federation champion. Hulk Hogan is the world's most recognizable athlete personality. He is the hero of men, women, and children of all ages. From the jungles of Borneo to the high rises of Manhattan. No other athlete has such a unique relationship with his fans. The Hulkster sets off an outpouring of excitement and admiration from the crowds who flock to see him. Put this up there while I read this. The flood of emotion has an electrifying effect upon Hogan, who draws strength from the cheering that erupts around the ring. The interplay between the champion and his admirers is called Hulkamania. In Hogan's words, it is a bond between us that nobody can break. Man, a unity that's special. The Hulkster has been champion since January 24th, 1984. Throughout his reign, he has met awesome challenges from some of the most feared wrestlers on earth and has emerged triumphant from all. He thwarted the feared backbreaker of Hercules. He conquered the massive King Kong Bundy in WrestleMania 2. In WrestleMania 3, he faced the terrifying threat of Andre the Giant. Until then, unbeaten, a Colossus standing 7 feet 5 inches and weighing 495 pounds. Let's see if I can. There it is. This is actually from WrestleMania 4, the rematch, but you get the idea. Hogan's beat them all. Well, most of them. Just about all of them. Hogan, at a lean, mean 294 pounds, struggled from the brink of disaster to body slam Andre and keep him down for a pinfall. Hogan devoted himself to clean living and intense physical training, which has given this Venice Beach, California native an incredible physique, typifying by 24-inch biceps. Even more impressive than his physical attributes is Hulk Hogan's indomitable spirit. It has carried him to victory against great odds as much as has his powerful body. Hogan is deeply patriotic and proud of his country, which he readily defends against any detractors. His theme song, Real American, exemplifies Hogan's way of life. Now remember, this was written in 1987, all right? And it's a WWF magazine, so you know they're going to be all in with Hogan, but still, it's pretty cool. And there are some pictures of Hulk Hogan there. Thunder Lips himself, and Rip from the movie No Holds Barred. If you haven't seen No Holds Barred, a great movie. Left Hulk Hogan's atomic leg drop, and he hits the Megaton Force. Very cool. Let's see a little more about Hulk. Oh, and just maybe some more photos. One of the greatest photos, I think, of Hulk Hogan right there. Let's see if I can. There we go. Body slamming Harley Race, the King Harley Race, one of the greatest wrestling champions of all time, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Boom, right there. All right, that is it for now. God bless you all. Thank you for watching another episode of the podcast. Until next time, remember, Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. God bless America. Thank you, Hulk Hogan, for everything that you have done. And until next time, God bless.